This conference will now be recorded. This conference will
Yes,
now be recorded.
Yeah.
yes, Venkat.
Cool. A very good morning and good evening, guys. Welcome to our Python demo session. Just a couple of things before we start, guys. I would like to hear from you your introduction. I mean, you don't need to unmute yourself and introduce yourself. I just want your name, your current experience, and technology you're working on. So just like this, Suresh, and then let's say my experience is 8 years, and then I'm currently working as a data engineer. Okay, so for example, if you are a fresher, you can probably introduce yourself like this, fresher. So that would set up some context for me. You can use your chat window, guys. That would give some time for others to join. Okay. So we have two freshers, one 7-year experience, and your technology would also help me if you are experienced. Fresher, we have one more fresher. Hello Jansi, hello Komali, Vidyashree and Mokshit. Vishwanath, ninth grader, okay. Fresher, one more fresher, Rashmika, industrial engineering fresher. Hi Pratyush. Akila, fresher. Srinu, 3 years of experience, support engineer. Hi Srinu. Harish, 9 years SQL. Cool. Hi Harish. Satyavanu, 15 years manager ETL cloud. Wow. For the folks who have joined just now, we are just going through introduction, guys. Okay, you can probably introduce yourself in the format you are seeing on the screen. You can use your chat window. Gopi Krishna, fresher. Hello everyone, once again, welcome to Python demo. Let me introduce myself. My name is Suresh. I have 8+ years of experience into IT industry, guys. Um, my primary technology is data engineering. So basically, I work on cloud and data engineering tools, especially distributed frameworks like Spark. Okay, and I have worked with multiple MNCs. Starting from Deloitte, and then I worked for another Big Four, EY, Franklin Templeton. Currently, I'm working for one of the leading banking organizations. I don't want to name the organization, but yes, leading a banking organization it is. And then, you might ask me, boss, how come being a data engineer, you are related to Python? So that's where Python plays an important role, guys. Okay. So now the domain or the technology you're working on doesn't matter. Python is everywhere. Every day in and day out, I keep writing Python code. Okay. So when I said Spark is a distributed framework. I mean, it's a framework basically to process our data, and I implement Spark applications using Python. We call that tool as PySpark. And similarly, there is another tool called Airflow. So Airflow is a tool which would help you to orchestrate the entire pipelines you have built. Okay, so when I talk about Airflow, Airflow is an open source tool, and it's everywhere too. Even in Google Cloud Platform, which is cloud, you have a tool called Cloud Spanner again, which is built on top of Airflow, where you'll have to write your Python scripts. Okay, so Python is everywhere. I mean, not just in data engineering. Be it you want to become a data scientist, the very basic need you should be satisfying is to learn Python. Similarly, maybe you want to get into web development. You have multiple options though. When you talk about web development frameworks, you have Java as well. But in Python, you have Django and Flask frameworks, which you can leverage to develop Python applications. Okay. For freshers, what are the terminology I'm using currently might sound French and Latin for you, but over a period of time you'll get comfortable because we talk about a lot of examples every day. Okay. For experienced folks, you might relate whatever I'm talking, right? So let me talk about today's agenda first. So today it's going to be an interactive session, guys. You keep asking questions, I keep answering questions, right? So I cannot show my all my training skills in just 1 hour demo. Okay, so we will try to interact as much as we can, and I'll try to answer your questions. Okay, maybe walk you through the curriculum I'm gonna teach you for next 1.5 months, right? And then I'm going to talk about how this course is going to help you. So I'm going to talk in two different um, paths. One path is for fresher and another path is for experienced folks. Okay, and then I'm going to talk about applications of Python, how Python is being used, right? So without wasting any time, let's get into the topic, guys. So let me start with a question. So why did you join this course? I would want you to use your chat window, guys, to make our interaction seamless rather than you unmuting yourself. But if you feel you want to talk and you want to unmute yourself, you are free. So why did you join this course? I know you haven't finalized yet, but why are you showing interest in Python? No reasons. Python and DevOps are good future. Wanted to learn scripting language. What else? Existing automation users Perl, wanted to learn more. Okay, you learn more for any cloud technology. Python is a kind of backend. Okay. What else, guys? Want to use Python on automating the data validation? Okay. Automation. Okay. What else you can think of? Okay. To summarize all the responses, generally, it would be to land in a good job or to improvise your existing position. Okay, as simple as that. If it is for a fresher, they wanted to end up in a good job, right? And if it is an experienced professional, either you want to upgrade yourself into a different technology or land in a better job or to automate your existing scripts or to make your existing projects better, right? So there you are, guys. These are the answers I'm expecting because that's the only reason why people would be joining a Python course, right? So Python is everywhere. Let me tell you what. Talking about freshers, most of the interview questions would be on a couple of technologies, guys. One is a programming language, and second one is SQL if you are from computer science background. When I say computer science, if you are from computer science or IT background, people would ask you questions on SQL as well. Okay, if you are not from programming background, if you are from not non-CS background, if you are from people would be testing your knowledge on one programming language and any core subject of yours. Okay, so that's how recruitment happens. Recruitment for freshers happen in India, right? And talking about experienced professional, nobody would be recruiting you just for Python. Definitely not. So if you can open Naukri or Monster Jobs, or if you are in US, Indeed, okay, if you check the requirements, nobody would be directly asking for a Python developer for sure. Okay, so there are technologies which are predominantly using Python and they need Python developers. Okay, so knowledge on one or the other domain is also very important. One or the other technology, sorry. Okay, so for example, data engineering is a technology, data scientist or data science, and then web development, automation, right? So these are the things which you will have to know. And for these things or learning these things, Python would be your go-to guide. Okay, so Python definitely won't land you in a good job, but it will help you to learn these technologies. But for freshers, yes, Python is more than enough to land you in a good job. Okay, I'm being pretty open, guys. Right now, let me walk you through the curriculum, what we are going to learn in the next 1.5 months. And let me also set up the right expectations, because setting up right expectations is very important, because you might have something in your mind. If I haven't delivered that, you might feel disappointed. So I always believe in setting up right expectations, guys. Right, we'll start with basics of Python. No matter whether you have 15-year experience or 25-year experience, I'm gonna treat you like a fresher, and I'll be starting every single topic from very basics. Okay, so you'll have to be patient in the first 1 week to 10 days if you already have programming background. Okay, so module one, basics of Python. I'm gonna go dead slow for this module. Okay, so here I'll be covering introduction to Python, and then I'll show you how to install and set up Python in your machine. So again, we will be using multiple environments to develop Python applications, guys. So for example, when we start, we will be using a cloud tool called Google Collaboratory Notebook. Okay, and Google Colab. I'm gonna show you how you can use PyCharm IDE. Okay, and then I'm gonna show you how you can set up Anaconda's distribution. Anaconda distribution in your Windows. Okay, which comes along with Jupyter Notebook. Okay, in fact, Google Colab Notebook would look very similar to Jupyter Notebook. Not just Jupyter Notebook, guys. Jupyter Notebook, Google Colab, Databricks Notebook for developing PySpark applications. They all have similar API, and that environment is what we refer to as REPL. Okay, so the full form of REPL is read, evaluate, print loop. Okay, so to put it in a simple terminology for you to understand, you write one line of code, execute, check the output. You write second line of code, execute, check the output. You write third line of code, execute, check the output. Unlike other programming languages like Java. Okay, Java, you cannot just write one line of code and check the output. No, that never happens. Okay, so the reason for that being, Java is a interpreted language. I'm going to talk about all these terms once we start our course, guys. But that's the beauty of an interpreted language. Okay, so like Python, we have Scala, we have R. They are all interpreted programming languages. Okay, so we're going to talk about all those things. And then, like I said, installation and setup, we will be using 3 different environments. And as and when I start a corresponding topic, I'm going to walk you through the installation steps, right? And then we talk about keywords, variables, data types. They are like building blocks of any programming language. And what are the module one I'm talking about, right? That would be common across any different, common across any programming language. Okay, so you will see the same topics in Scala. You'll see the same topics while learning Java. You'll see the same topics while learning C. Only syntaxes differ, guys. Okay, and then we'll talk about the most important programming constructs. Be it any programming language, this is the most important programming constructs: conditional statements, loops, and then control flow. Okay, and then we'll talk about arrays, we'll talk about functions, how we implement our custom functions, and then we'll talk about string and string manipulation functions, which is very, very, very important. Recently in interviews, right, most of the questions are coming from these string functions. They'll give you a simple use case and ask you to implement code to reverse a string or extract a string or to combine a string, right? So a lot of interview questions are coming in this area, guys. I'm gonna walk you through this, and then we have you know date, calendar, and time delta functions, which would be pretty helpful for especially the ones who are looking for their careers in data engineering and data science, right? And then we'll talk about lambda functions, which have paved a way for functional programming. Okay, especially people who are looking into learning PySpark, this is gonna be quite useful, guys. And then we'll talk about Python modules similar to Java packages. And then we have file IO, how we will read from a file and write to a file using Python. And I'll be showing you different files here. We'll read and write data to a text file and then a JSON file and then you know Excel file as well, right? And then the most important topic, guys, working with collections. So collections or data structures, important part of any programming language. Okay, so we will talk about four collections here: list, set, tuple, and then dictionary. Dictionary is referred to as map in Java, but here we will call that as dict. Okay, in sets we have a variant of it called frozen sets, which is immutable. Okay, so we are gonna spend almost a week on module 2, guys, because that's being the most important topic. And trust me, if you are attending an interview for data science or data engineering or I mean any what you call any technology, if they want to test you on Python, they are gonna ask you questions on module 2 for sure. Okay, and then the important concept, oops, object-oriented programming structures. Okay, here we'll be talking about what exactly a class is, what exactly an object is, and how the object-oriented way of implementing solution is different from procedural way of implementing solutions. And then we'll talk about constructors. We'll talk about you know inheritance. We'll talk about a lot of things there, like different types of methods we implement in a class, like static method, and other methods, right? Then we have miscellaneous topics, guys. Just they're like handy topics. Okay, when it comes to implementing your solutions, one is exception handling, and then Python email module, using which you can send email to any email address. If you are if you are trying to implement this code at an organizational level, you'll have to know different things, because most of the organizations use Outlook. Okay, but in our case, I'm gonna show you an example using Gmail. Okay, and then Python JSON, like I'm gonna show you how a JSON file can be manipulated. Okay, and then decorators and generators, another important topic, guys, when you are going to implement decorators and generators are pretty helpful when you are implementing solutions at a large scale. Okay, and like the title of our course suggests, ours is a comprehensive Python course. With this module 4, we have completed Python that is generic. Okay, so what are the Python you are going to learn till module 4 will be helpful to you everywhere. Okay, and starting from module 5, this is going to be like technology specific Python, whatever we are going to learn. So like I said, from module 5, I'm not gonna deep dive into any of these topics, because let's say if you are deep diving, module 5 itself will take more than a month, but it will give you very good understanding on how Python will be leveraged in data science. Okay, I'm gonna walk you through 4 different modules here, guys: NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and Seaborn. So basically, Matplotlib and Seaborn are used for visualization purpose. Pandas, where we will do some data frame operations, and then NumPy is a numerical Python package. How we will be using numerical methods in Python. 4 different packages which are pretty important to implement data science solutions. Like I said, it's going to be a kind of introduction, but you'll get some good idea of how you can use Python in developing data science applications. Okay, so then I'm going to walk you through Python JDBC. So Python JDBC, I'm going to show you how you can interact with your RDBMS, database management systems, using Python code. Okay, so we are going to do a CRUD operation here. So CRUD stands for create, read, update, and delete. Okay, so CRUD stands for create. We'll create a table, and then we'll read data from a table. I'll show you how to update a table, and then delete. Again, if you are this is to freshers. If you are not from non-CS background, don't worry about that. I'm going to teach you the basics of RDBMS too. Okay, so what exactly an RDBMS tool is, how to set up MySQL environment, and I'm going to walk you through, what exactly are these tables, right? And then I'm going to show you these 4 operations, pretty important operations, CRUD. Okay, and we will end our course with the introduction to Django and Flask, guys. Like I said, this is just an introduction. You will get the hang of how Python can be used in developing web applications. So we will implement a Hello World program in Django and a Hello World program in Flask. Okay, now you might ask me a question, especially experienced folks. But then let's say I want to learn data science using Python. So wouldn't that be covered in our course? No. I'm gonna give you some introduction to how Python can be used in data science. But like I said, we'll do very interesting examples, guys. Like we'll take a Titanic data set and we'll do some exploratory analytics, right? And then we do a workshop where we will be implementing a photo editor, guys. Photo editor using NumPy. Okay, we'll take an image, we'll try to crop it, we'll try to rotate it, we'll try to add some effects to it using Python. Okay, so there I'm gonna walk you through basics of image processing. So how image processing works and how that image processing can be done by using NumPy arrays. Okay, so we'll have a lot of fun. But like I said, this is not going to cover the entire data science. You will get the hang of what you are gonna do in data science and using Python. Similarly, if you ask me, boss, data engineering would be taught in this course, definitely no. But I'm gonna give you wings to learn data science. Similarly, I'm gonna give you wings to learn web framework if you are interested into web programming. Similarly, automation. Automation, again, if you are using the built-in modules or a built-in frameworks from Python, I'm not going to cover that. But if you are using a Python script, yes, that would be covered. Okay, but freshers, you don't need to worry about all these things. For you, Python is more than enough. Whatever you're going to learn here, I'm pretty sure it will land you in a job. Okay, so let me take a quick break for your questions. Please ping me your questions if you have any, guys. If you don't have any questions, you can probably ping me no. Any questions? How many sessions? We will have close to 40 to 45 sessions, Harish. 40 hours to 45 hours. Installation and setup in Mac. So like I said, Google Colab, it doesn't matter whether it is a Windows machine or a Mac machine. At the end of the day, it's a browser. Okay, so talking about installing Anacondas or IDE, like I said, even for Windows, I'm not gonna show a demo kind of. I'm gonna provide you with YouTube links which you will be following. Okay. And if you have any questions, concerns, you can definitely get back to me. I'm gonna provide you support, guys. Okay. What are the timings and when does the class start? I'm not the right person, Mamsi. Probably you will have to get in touch with CIT folks. They would be answering that question. Okay. And Srinu, both core and advanced Python, yes. Answer is yes. And then which module is useful to automate data loads? So to answer this question formally, if you are writing a Python script, it's not about modules. I mean, I'm talking about simple Python scripts to automate your normal or ETL loads using some JDBC. Okay, but if you are using, I mean, if you are referring to a PySpark programming, the set of modules which you will be using will be completely different. Okay, so Python is just a medium there. You'll have to learn Spark. Will the sessions be on weekend or weekdays? Weekdays, Monday to Friday. So weekends will have workshops, guys. Not every weekend, but we will have some kind of workshops where we'll have a lot of fun. Let's say, I'll be conducting 3 workshops. One workshop would be after this conditional statement loops and control flows. Okay, where we will have a lot of fun implementing some games, okay, using whatever we have learned till then. And the next workshop would be after completing object oriented structures. Okay, so after this OOPS concepts, again we will be implementing a payment solution, okay, for a call center organization. They're all custom designed, guys. They are completely customized for my course. Okay, this call center payment system, you won't find it anywhere. So I will give you requirements, what needs to be done. Then we will have a kind of discussion. Then we will design the solution, and then we implement it. Okay, and the third workshop would be after Python for data science. So here we will be implementing a photo editor. Okay, so these workshops would happen on weekends, and if you have any queries or if you want to set up a one-on-one meetings, that would happen on weekends. And I would also encourage you to register in some competitive programming platforms like HackerRank or HackerEarth or what are the platform you are familiar with to practice more. I will be giving you ample examples to understand a particular concept, but I also want you to, um, explore these websites. I'm gonna give you references though, okay? But get into this competitive programming mode as well, where you can find a lot of simple examples, a lot of complex examples, and the best part of it is in most of the interviews, more directly the questions would come from these platforms. I have 8-year gap. Can I get back to this development using this course? Yes, why not? Can you share videos if we miss any class? Yes. Answer is yes. Recordings would be uploaded to Google Drive, and probably once you have completed formalities with CIT, they'll be giving you access. And what are the artifacts I'm gonna use, like the Collab notebooks or .py files or PPTs or documents, if any, would be shared in the same drive. Okay, so documents, I'm not going to share the code right away, guys. So I want you to go through the recordings and make your hands dirty. So I don't want you to do a copy and paste job. So I'll be sharing the code only after a few modules. So for example, first set of source code would be shared after module 2. Okay, second set would be shared after module 4. Okay, so I'm not going to share the code right away after the sessions. Hope that makes sense. because I don't want any one of you to do that copy and paste. I want you to type, make your hands dirty. These classes will not be conducted offline. We are completely online now. Until and unless these COVID uncertainties are gone and we get confident, we would be able to make at least 15-20 member batch will not be going offline. So this is going to be completely online. And online classes are better, right? You'll also have recordings. Offline, you don't have recordings. You don't get recordings, and you'll have to take that handwritten notes. Any other questions, guys? Um, I don't have any idea, Vishwanath. So again, CIT folks would be the right person to answer your question. So any admin related questions, please redirect them to our CIT folks, guys. They'll get back to you, like, class timings and then your fee or when these sessions will start. So for these kind of questions, right, please reach out to our admin folks. Okay, now let's talk about a few other important things, guys. Now, most of the experienced folks, you might ask me, boss, what are the technologies that we should be looking into, or how the future is going to be? So, whatever the technology it is, learn it in cloud, guys. Okay, cloud is going to be the future. Okay, it's the present and it's the future too. Most of the projects currently happening in the industry are cloud migration projects. Okay, so somebody was mentioning, DevOps. Yes, DevOps too. So cloud, DevOps, data engineering are going to be the most wanted technologies for next 10 years. Okay, so when I say data engineering, again, data engineering on cloud. Okay, so most of the ETL tools are going void. People are moving out of it. Okay, so I interact with a lot of customers. They keep talking about the same thing, importance of cloud and how we gonna leverage cloud to solve their business problems, right? And everybody is exploring cloud these days. Okay, so nobody are preferring on-premise environments. So for example, if they already have their legacy systems, they might be continuing on their legacy systems to not to disrupt their day-to-day business activities, but people are moving towards cloud. Okay, trust me, guys. Next 10 years, cloud, DevOps, and data engineering. These are the three technologies which are going to rule. And again, you might ask me, boss, what about data science? No offense to any data scientist, guys, or no offense to any data science, what you call aspirants. Okay, so my suggestion, if you are learning a data science module or machine learning module, I would recommend you to learn the math of the module. Okay, so the definition of a data scientist was different earlier. So when we talk about a data scientist, there is a path where he would be learning topics related to probability, statistics, numerical methods, and then he will start with hypothesis testing. So all these things, then they will jump on to machine learning algorithms to understand which algorithm can be used on what scenarios and what is the math behind the algorithm. So what's happening, right? To understand the derivation of those formulae, you might have to know the differentiation, integrations, and then trigonometry, sometimes logarithms, okay, and then algebra. Okay, so if you are a proper data scientist, you should be learning all these things. But nowadays, what's happening, especially from last few years, people are talking about different things, like, maybe you want to predict a house price, use logistic regression, or maybe linear regression. Okay, maybe you want to classify your data, use random forest. Maybe you are predicting something, use XYZ algorithm. Maybe you want to classify something, use ABC algorithms, one of the ABC algorithms. And then maybe you want to recommend something, use recommendation engines. That's not how a data scientist works, guys. Okay, so that's the mode of current learning, right? To do a similar learning, we have a lot of automated tools. I mean, even this approach worked for a few years, but now there are a lot of automated tools like H2O.ai. H2O.ai is an excellent tool. Okay, so you don't need to write any code. You pull the data set, give your requirements, select the features, click on go, you're done. Okay, so whatever the current data scientist is doing, the tool is also doing. So what's the point? Okay, learning data science that way. So I would never recommend you to learn data science that way. If you really want to become a reliable data scientist, I want you to follow a good path, give enough time, which is like close to 6 months to 8 months. Learn everything behind a data scientist. I mean, behind an algorithm, and then you'll have some good value in the market for next few years. Like when I'm talking about any technology, I'm keeping at least 10 years in my mind. Okay, cloud and DevOps, next big things for sure. Data engineering right now, most happening. Okay, so for a 8 to 10 year experience guys in India, they're being paid 35 lakh, 40 lakh INR for a data engineer. Any other questions, guys? I see good number of no's, so I'm assuming no questions from any one of you. Okay, so like I said, Python is everywhere. And talking about the medium, data for data science, Python is the most preferred programming language. For data engineering, I have given you the tools which would use Python as a medium for the development. Okay, web application, I have shown you Django and Flask. And similarly, Python can be used everywhere, guys. Okay, I have expected a lot of questions. Cool. If you don't have any questions, that's all I have for today, guys. We'll start our course from, the date given by CIT. Okay. For date, timings, and other details, please reach out to our CIT admins. Okay, probably Lakshmi Garu or Vijaya Garu would be help you to get into this. Okay. I hope you all liked the demo, and see you tomorrow or whatever the date the course starts from. If you have any questions, you can probably stay back and post it in the chat window, guys. I'll be here for next 5 minutes. Any real-time scenarios? Good question. So what are the topic I'm gonna explain? What are the topic I'm gonna explain you? I'm gonna give you the real-time scenarios. We might not be implementing the real-time scenarios, but I'm gonna tell you, boss, this is the concept which you can use for XYZ scenarios that I'm gonna cover. Okay, because we cannot create or simulate a real-time scenarios and then implement it. Does that make sense, Shravan? 100 GB of data training loading? No, definitely no. 100 GB of data, it's a costly affair. No, yeah, that totally goes into Spark code. Okay, so I'm not gonna show anything in Python. This is a pure Python course. Okay, let's say if we talk about Spark course, I can definitely show you. Boss, this is 100 GB of data, and when you say 100 GB of data, from where you are ingesting it, whether it is in RDBMS or if it is a flat file or if it is in SharePoint or if it is in Drive. Okay, and then I'm again the destination is also important. Where you're gonna load it to a warehouse or a cloud file system or a data lake. So based on these scenarios, we will be splitting it and loading it. And actually, people who doesn't have any programming language don't need to bother about anything, guys, because I'll be teaching everything from the basics. People who already having programming language should be patient for first couple of weeks till I complete module 1, because in the interest of the non-programming background guys, I'll have to teach everything from the basics. PySpark, no. PySpark itself is a 2-month course, which I'll be teaching. Okay. So I'll not be teaching PySpark over here. This is a Python course. Only Python. Thank you. Thank you, Vishwanath. Do we have lab setup available to connect to RDBMS? We don't provide any lab setup, but you'll have to do it in your laptop. Okay. And I'm gonna give you all the references that would help you to set it up. Okay. If you are facing any issues, I'll be connecting with you one-on-one to get them resolved. Hope that answers your question. Perfect. Cool. Thank you guys. Once again, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Okay. Hope to see you in my regular sessions. Thank you. Have a good weekend.